What if I told you that the slowest player in the entire NBA is also one of its most unstoppable forces? Luka Dončić, the Slovenian prodigy who was already a European MVP at just 19 years old, crossed the Atlantic and began dismantling the best basketball league in the world. He leads the league in scoring, racks up All-NBA first-team selections as if they were casual achievements, and even carried the Dallas Mavericks all the way to the finals. For a player many doubted, there's almost nothing left for him to prove. But how is it that someone without blazing speed, someone who plays in the exact opposite way of today's hyper-athletic NBA stars, became so unstoppable? And how did a kid from a small European country evolve into someone many believe could one day be the greatest player in NBA history? To answer that, we have to rewind to Slovenia in the early 2000s. Luka Dončić was born on February 28, 1999, in Ljubljana to his father, Sasha, a professional basketball player, and his mother, Miriam, who owned a beauty salon. From the very beginning, Luka's life revolved around the game. He was either watching his father's games or seeing his godfather, Rashko Nesterović, compete in the NBA. The influence was immediate and powerful. Luka found himself falling in love with the sport long before he even realized what it could mean for his future. But it wasn't just his father or godfather who shaped him. He looked up to players like Vasilis Spanoulis and to his father's teammate Goran Dragic, who would later become one of his most important mentors. Although he tried other sports as a child, basketball was always his one true love. By the age of 7, Luka was already training with the youth teams of his father's club, KK Olympia. The problem? He was far too advanced for his age group. To keep him challenged, coaches placed him against kids much older and larger, some 2 or 3 years ahead. But Luka had a weapon even those bigger, stronger kids couldn't counter: his competitive spirit and a natural feel for the game. That mix allowed him to dominate no matter the opponent. His father knew Slovenia wasn't enough of a challenge anymore and began looking for opportunities abroad. Real Madrid's youth coordinator, Pablo Sanuda, invited Luka to join their team for a mini-Copa tournament. And what the Slovenian kid did shocked everyone. At just 12 years old, he led Madrid to a championship over Barcelona, scoring 20 points in the final. But it was what happened in Rome that sealed his destiny. In the U13 Lido di Roma tournament, Luka didn't just dominate, he obliterated the competition. In the championship game, he dropped a 54-point triple-double. At 12 years old, that performance put him on the radar of every scout in Europe. Real Madrid offered him a permanent spot, and although Luka was scared to leave Slovenia, he eventually made the move. He didn't know Spanish or English, but he understood basketball, and that was enough. At Real Madrid, his rise was rapid. By 14, he was starring in youth tournaments. By 16, he was already debuting for Madrid's senior team, the youngest in club history. He learned under coach Pablo Lasso, who molded him into a point guard with the vision and poise of a veteran. By 17, Luka was starting EuroLeague games, competing against grown men twice his age. He wasn't perfect. Real Madrid fell short in the EuroLeague Final Four and in the Spanish League Finals, with Luka struggling in both, but those setbacks only fueled him. Soon after, he joined Slovenia's national team alongside his idol Goran Dragic, and stunned Europe by helping them win the Eurobasket title in 2017. Luka's patience, his refusal to be sped up, became his signature. He wasn't faster than anyone, but he was smarter, and that made all the difference. By 2018, Luka was unstoppable. He won EuroLeague MVP, Finals MVP, and a championship, all before his 20th birthday. When he entered the NBA draft, scouts were skeptical. They doubted his athleticism, wondered if his European game could translate. The Atlanta Hawks drafted him 3rd overall before trading him to the Dallas Mavericks. Even Dirk Nowitzki, the Mavericks legend, wasn't sure if this kid would succeed. His NBA debut didn't ease concerns, just 10 points on poor shooting. But Luka adjusted fast. By his second game, he was scoring 26 points, showing off the same slow, calculated style that had baffled Europe. The Mavericks soon realized they needed to build around him, not force him off the ball. By his second season, Luka was a superstar. He averaged nearly 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. He made the All-NBA first team and recorded triple-doubles with ease. The slowest guy on the court was dissecting defenses like a surgeon, using pace and patience as weapons. In the 2020 playoffs, against the Los Angeles Clippers, he announced himself on the biggest stage. Game 4, Luka hit one of the greatest shots in playoff history, a step-back 3 at the buzzer over Reggie Jackson to tie the series. That moment cemented him as a playoff performer, even though Dallas ultimately fell. The years that followed saw ups and downs. Dallas struggled to surround Luka with the right pieces. Kristaps Porzingis, the supposed co-star, never fit. Coaching changes and front office drama followed. But Luka kept producing magic. A 60-point triple-double against the Knicks, a 51-point masterpiece against the Clippers, and finally, in 2022, he led Dallas to a shocking upset over the top-seeded Phoenix Suns in Game 7, humiliating them on their home floor with 27 points by halftime. Luka dragged the Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals, where they lost to the Warriors, but the message was clear: he was coming. In 2023 and 2024, Luka continued to elevate. He won the scoring title with nearly 34 points per game and earned his 5th straight All-NBA first-team nod. The Mavericks reshaped their roster around him, adding defenders like P.J. Washington Jr. and Daniel Gafford. The result? Dallas surged late in the season, boasting the league's best defense over the final stretch. Luka led them through the playoffs, taking down the Clippers and then the Timberwolves to reach the NBA Finals. It was the franchise's first Finals appearance since Dirk's championship run in 2011. Luka put up monster numbers against the Boston Celtics, but Dallas fell short. Still, he had established himself as one of the best players alive, and at just 25 years old, his ceiling seemed limitless. But Luka's story has always been one of challenges alongside triumphs. Injuries, weight issues, and questions about his conditioning have followed him. In 2025, those concerns resurfaced. He showed up to camp overweight, then suffered a calf injury that sidelined him for weeks. The Mavericks' patience wore thin, and tensions grew. By season's end, a shocking twist emerged. Luka was no longer in Dallas. He had moved on to the Los Angeles Lakers, teaming up with LeBron James and Austin Reeves. The goal was simple: win championships in purple and gold. But reality hit hard. Despite Luka's brilliance, the Lakers crashed out in the first round of the playoffs. Now the question is, what comes next? Luka Dončić is still young, still capable of rewriting basketball history. The slowest player on the court remains one of its most dominant. He bends defenses, manipulates pace, and controls games in a way few players in history ever have. Whether he wins one championship, 3, or none at all, his legacy as a basketball savant is already secure. But knowing Luka, the story is far from over, and now I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Luka Dončić moment off the court? For me, it will always be that clip where he shows his humor and humanity away from the game. But maybe you have another in mind. Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Luka's journey, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story about the biggest stars in sports.